What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, and I'm here for the news. And we're going to be going over several clips today of this internet phenomenon called the Passport Bros. And I'm going to be giving you my opinion and what I think what's happening via the internet. Now, over the past, I would say, 5-6 years, there's been this movement called the manosphere, where men get on the internet and complain like bitches about women, and especially the Negro male. Now, in this video, I'm not trying to make the assertion that women are blameless or women shouldn't take accountability. I'm not saying that by any means necessary. But for the Negro man, he has to take more accountability for what's going on with the woman. Now, I know this for a fact. If you're anywhere from 35 to 65 and you're a black man, and you came up through them 80s, 90s, early 2000s, most of the shit that went wrong in these relationships most of the time were black men. You might say, how could you say that? Why would you say that? My baby mama did this and my ex-wife did that. The Negro has done the worst job of vetting women and asking them real questions than any man in history. When he meets the woman, he's basically a vagina hound. He's not asking her questions to see if this is a good woman or see if this is the right woman for me. He's asking questions to get into her drawers. And most people might say, ain't nothing wrong with that. Until your funky ass is in child support court, scratching your head and emptying your wallet. Look, that 35 to 65 age range for men, especially black men, what happened was they fell into being liars and deceivers. And what do I mean by that? When the black man is in his early years, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and he meets a woman, he's not brutally honest with that lady. He doesn't ask that lady, hey, are you okay with me sleeping with other women? Because this nigga know that's what he's going to do. He's playing the role. We've all heard the term honesty is the best policy. The black man has lied his ass off for the last 40 or 50 years. Instead of meeting a woman and saying, baby, I want to have sex with other women. He didn't do that, especially in his younger years. And I know this for a fact. Now, look, a lot of these women ain't perfect. I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but I know when women meet a particular man, especially in their younger years, whatever femininity that they have, they'll give it to that one guy. But that one guy, the one who finally dropped it in her drawers the right way, the one that made her feel how she always wanted to feel, he was the biggest liar and deceiver. So she ended up trying to do what the man did, is become a liar and deceiver and sleep around. Now, that shit didn't work for us. All of a sudden, a woman tries to do that shit, and it's not going to work for her either. Lying and cheating does not work. You have to be open and honest about who you are and what you're into. It's extremely important, you guys, especially for the black man. You cannot meet women in your early years and say, baby, it's only you. All these men on the internet crying, oh, my baby, and she ain't doing that. Well, when you met her, what did you ask from her? What was you trying to get out of the woman? Did you tell her exactly what you expected from her before trying to get in her drawers? Did you say, baby, if you ain't cooking and cleaning, I'm out of here? Baby, if you ain't sucking and fucking how I like, I'm gone. Baby, if you don't allow me to sleep with other women, I'm gone. Did you lay those things out properly? No. And in my younger years, I didn't either. I told my partner Jay this one time. I was staying in Portland, Oregon. This was the early 2000s. I told him, I said, brother, I didn't realize something. He said, what's that? We ain't nothing but some liars and deceivers. He said, what you mean? I said, bro, if we can't tell women the truth about what the fuck we doing and what we like and that we want to sleep around, we ain't shit. We liars and deceivers. And everything that's coming to us is going to fall right in our lap and we got to pay double. And that motherfucker said, God damn, you might be on to something. I figured that out in 2007. If you're going to be a liar and a deceiver, realize you're going to have to pay heavy on the back end, black man. Especially for the Negro, you have to pay double. That's even just being a black man. Even if you in a judicial system, you're in a courtroom, you want to commit crimes, no going in, you got to pay double, black man. You got to pay double, so you have to know that. When you pick a woman and you have children, and you're not married and you don't plan on being with that woman, you have to pay double. So you can't blame her. People say women are the weaker vessel. Men are the natural leaders. If that's the case, then you can't blame the weaker vessel, bro. You just can't blame the weaker vessel for everything. You have to man up. But let's take a look at this first clip. And this clip is absolutely pathetic. Let me make sure I got my volume and shit correct.
What I'm saying, I can't come home to a white because what we married for?
Let's read the clip. It said, man comes home from a 13-hour shift and his wife offered him a bite of her pizza slice for dinner. What we married for? Brother, if you married a woman and you work a 13-hour shift and she ain't cooking for you, that means you're a weak, sympathetic, bitch-ass nigga. You ain't shit. You sorry and you soft. That don't mean you're not a hard worker. Them is two totally different things. You're a hard worker, bro. That's commendable. But on the other end, you's a bitch. You didn't ask her and expect that out of her, or that was mandatory or else. She didn't feel no pressure. She has her little cell phone there, and she's built like a 12-year-old fucking boy. She looked like she's going through adolescence. But that's neither here nor there. But if that's the case, that's your weak ass fault. Keep the video going.
What we married for?
I guess your mama and your wife.
I just pulled a 13-hour shift. I just knew I was gonna come home and have some food on the goddamn stove.
I just pulled up a 13-hour shift. I just knew I would go have some food on the stove. Oh my God. Is the Negro male gotten this weak and this pathetic? For this type of shit to be on the internet embarrassing itself? We can't. There's no way we can be this weak as men. What were these? And then you got pizza and what I supposed to eat. Oh, she should never cook for this bitch ass nigga.
And then playing, man. You been doing for like 2 or 3 months, man. What is it? You don't pay no goddamn bill. I pay the car note, the house notes, family trips. I pay for.
That's what you're supposed to.
Man.
And she right. If he ain't set no boundaries, no guidelines about what he wanted and expected, you doing what you been doing, nigga, shut up. These niggas kill me. How can you lead from the back? The Negro male thinks he can cry, piss, moan, and complain. It used to be we was blaming the white man for everything. We done got so weak and pathetic. We done turned to blaming everything on the woman. Unbelievable.
You know what?
I didn't pretend that's what you're supposed to do.
Why? I can't get no food in the house then. Huh? But I'm saying,
That video right there is so pathetic. And it's just sad and tragic. But it also shows the times that we're in. And it shows the state of some of these black men that's out here. Yes, he's a hard worker. And like I said, that's commendable. But, brother, that ain't nobody's fault but your own. If that motherfucker ain't acting right, or say for instance, she started out doing it all and she ain't, then that's when the side piece come in. You get somebody else to start doing fucking cooking food and making, doing all that shit. You work a 13-hour shift and you can't get a sandwich, that's on you. Oh my God. The weakness, it just don't stop. Let's take a look at this. Women submit to everyone except their husbands. This is also a talking point I've heard over the past couple years. Why do modern women submit to everyone else except their husbands? Let's take a listen.
You know, it baffles me the amount of women that are like, I would never let my husband tell me what to do. I'm not his child. And these same women, they'll go to work. Their boss says, hey, I need you to turn this in by 5 p.m. They say, yes, sir. The HR man.
Let's stop it right there. I'm so sick of hearing this bitch ass shit too. Oh, well, the black woman, she listens to the people at her job. Of course she does. Because there's order. Women fall in line in order. Do you know what the job would do that the Negro male won't do a lot of times? Fire her ass. If women were getting fired the same way jobs will fire you, keeping women on lifetime probation, just like a job, because women say being a wife and a mother is a full-time what? Job. So just like that job, you could be fired. You could be fired at home from that job. The man has put himself in predicaments to where he hasn't expected anything out of women, and his standards is so low at this point. I'm not talking about her looks or how much ass she got. I'm talking about what he's asking for. He asked for nothing. And you know what they say, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. She's on lifetime probation at her job. She understands that. They say 20% of the men are sleeping with 80% of the women. That's because 20% of our black Negro men are pathological liars, and they're not honest in relationships about what they want, what they expect, and what they're going to do in their free time. If you want to play the game, let that be known. I'm going to play the game. If you're going to cheat or you want to sleep with her, let that shit be known. You can't hide that shit. It's going to come out anyway. So you might as well be honest and upfront. You're so scared you ain't going to get the pussy. But the problem is, if we all was honest as men, we wouldn't have these problems.
And it says, hey, I need you to stop saying this to your employees. They say, okay. The trash man says, I need you to put your trash can on the side of the road on Wednesday mornings. You say, oh.
Yeah, and if you don't put your trash out there on Wednesday morning, your house will be filled up with trash. Because guess what? The trash man is going to do his job in order. And everything is done in order. Women fall in line. They know the order. Women are a step above children. And I do not mean that in a disrespectful manner. No way, shape, or form. All I mean in the biblical aspect, you have God, man, women, children. That's all I mean. So women understand order when they're in an environment where order is mandated.
The speed limit sign says, don't go past 65. Guess what? They won't go past 65. The nurse says, hey, you have this condition. I need you to take this medicine. They say, okay. Their single friend will say, girl, you need to do this for your husband. You need to tell me this and this. And they say, trust you, period.
And that's another thing. Oh, these modern women, they listen to their friends too much. That's your fault. If you get that, if you with a woman and you realize early on, this bitch, all she do is listen to her friends. You see that sign, you say, hey, baby, I don't accept that. I'm not going to accept that. You keep doing that, I'm out of here. Believe me, they would not listen to their friends as much. Their friends have power in your relationships because the men allow it. Let me say this. I ain't never seen an army of women, 100 women build a skyscraper. I ain't never seen 100 women build a residential neighborhood. I ain't never seen an army of women lay concrete for a whole city. I ain't never seen an army of women build bridges. I ain't never seen an army of women take over another country. I ain't never seen 100 women build flooring, do any of the shit that's men have built. Look, women are smart. They're specialists. They can specialize in one thing, and they might be smarter than a man in one certain thing. But women overall are not smarter than men. They're not society builders. That's not even their job or their role. That's not minimizing them or disrespect. I don't even mean that in no disrespectful way whatsoever. But that's just a fact. You've never seen it. Rome wasn't built by women. Them pyramids wasn't built by women. The Golden Gate Bridge wasn't built by women. All women do is what men do. So where do women get all these bad habits from? From men. Why are women today bigger liars and cheaters? Because they learned it from who? Men. They learned that shit from us. Are there women who are creators? Yeah, very few. There are some, but we know they're few and far between. It's mostly men. Who invented the TV? A man. Who invented the cell phone? Now I tell you, a man didn't invent damn near everything. I ain't saying a woman ain't invented nothing, but I'm saying 98, 99% of the shit was built by men. And I don't mean that to disrespect women in no way, shape, or form, like I said, but some of this shit's getting ridiculous. Men don't want to, they don't want to lead, they want to fucking complain.
Everybody at the mall will tell them to jump and they say how high can be. But when your husband, who has a covenant with God, to protect his provides for you, telling you, I don't think you should do this. Yes, you should do this. No, you can't do this. It's a problem and you're depressed.
This is called Cowtown to men. Like, men don't need to hear that shit. A woman, I've heard women say shit like, well, you gotta allow him to be the man. You can't allow a giraffe to be a fucking giraffe. You can't allow a rhino to be a fucking rhino. He's born with a fucking horn on top of his nose. He is who he is. He was who he was before you ever showed up to the safari to look at him. But the woman will submit. But the man has to be completely, brutally honest. And all the women who have broken away and went to feminism, brother, there's a price to be paid for that shit. These people won't have no man when shit hit the fan in this country. This country's circling the drain. All this shit they pulling, it's a price to be paid. You don't have to sit around crying about what the woman is, ain't doing. All we got to do, and listen, I'm not taking myself out of this equation. Some of this stuff I've been guilty of in the past. I want to make that perfectly clear. But some of this shit I ain't never thought about doing. I got to be perfectly honest. Let's talk about this. Women ignore the good guys. Now, this is true. A lot of women early in their life, they come across good guys. He has a 6-inch penis. He don't really have sex. His sex is a 5, but he's a hard worker, a good guy, and he's going to have things later on in life just because who he is. And sometimes the women choose the man who drops shit in their drawers. But the reason why they choose that man, because that man will start out lying like a motherfucker, man, a lot of times. And he'll lead that lady on down the road and knowing that he got her. Because the woman is the weaker vessel. So he got her. He know that. He putting that shit on her. He dropping it in her drawers the right way, Jack. So he'll lead that lady on and on and on. And then by the time she get further down the road, now she's jaded than a motherfucker. Because she's weaker. You can get the weaker person to do what you want. Even in prison, with all men, the cream rises to the crop for as the strongest and the alpha. They can lead the weak. So especially when you're dealing with a strong man, he get a woman and he knows she's weaker than him. Oh man, he knows she's built off emotion and full of estrogen. Oh man, he had a lady running in circles. But if he would have told her, hey baby, I'm a certified coxman. I'm gonna be out here slanging that thing left and right. And you got to make a choice. You can fuck with me or you don't. Some women, I'm not saying all, some women would choose to fuck with the other guy because they want to build something. But for the women who did want to do that, they would have that option. This is why, and for black men and for our race, we have to do it because it's incumbent upon us to keep our race going in the right direction. This is why that shit is so important. It ain't about being no motherfucking player. God said be fruitful and multiply. And you got to multiply through marriage and through family. You can't do that shit through the hood way how we thought you can do that shit. That shit doesn't work, y'all. We've been doing that shit for 30, 40 years, and it's a fucking unmitigated disaster. Let's go to the next clip. Let's take a look at this. Passport bro explains why he leaves.
She's not younger than me, she's not skinnier than me, and she's not prettier than me. Then why couldn't it just be me?
Well, she's softer than you. She's quieter. She doesn't yell at me. Call me an idiot. Tell me to shut up all the time. She listens to me. She's nice to me. She doesn't.
Any man allow a woman to talk to him like that all the time. He deserves exactly what he get. Look, in this world, 99% of the time you get what you deserve. You get what's coming to you. What you accept is what you get. If you allow somebody to slap you, you can bet your bottom dollar somebody else gonna grow a pair to slap you too, and you'll be getting slapped around all the time. And all you'll be doing is just turning one cheek to the other cheek to get slapped on.
Make me feel like the only thing stopping her from being happy is me.
I just find that type of shit extremely amusing because a lot of these men deal with a lot of what you would call that shit domestic abuse in the house, because you have physical domestic abuse and you have verbal domestic abuse where you verbally abusive, and some of these women can cut deep with their words. They know exactly what to say to cut your ass right down the sternum and bust your chest open and leave you sick. And some men snap because they just can't handle it. But yeah, man, you just can't allow yourself to be verbally abused. And some men are getting physically abused over the last 30, 40 years. That done picked up. A lot of men being spit on, kicked on, slapped, money taken out their wallet, credit cards being abused. Oh, yeah, man, this shit's getting wacky as shit out here. Let's take a look at this. Do black men prefer white women? There are some black men who like white women. Overall, black men prefer black women. But like I said, he doesn't know how to vet. Nobody taught, I will say this in the black man defense, nobody really taught us how to vet a person and ask the right question. Some people have that gift naturally. So, you don't expect everybody to have that gift, but it comes to a point to where we in the information age, the age of knowledge, where everything is available to learn. And now men are learning that you have to ask tougher questions. You can't just be a vagina hound. Let's take a look.
Why is it that black men prefer either white girls or Spanish girls?
I think
the way that I see it,
what they like.
so why is it that we see that, like, we hear about that, like, a thing, like, black men don't want to date black
Because
Let me say this. Black men, yeah, there are some who do like white girls, but niggas really like them Spanish girls. There's no doubt about it. Them Latinos, yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a lot of niggas. Some of them Latinos got a little Negro in them too. Yeah, so it seems like you ain't going too far away from the family tree. You know what I'm talking about? So there's a lot of black men who do like the Latino women. There is. There's no doubt about that. But overall, black men in majority are dating black women and having kids with black women. That there is more mixed interracial kids nowadays, but overall, you know what I mean? They say real women need to run away from modern women. Once again, this is the black man complaining because his vetting process is terrible, and his process on eliminating people immediately is god awful. Let's take a listen.
it's the problem. The real woman is getting too close to the so we don't know the difference until we start talking to them. I met a lot of women. They don't mean, I don't care if they from the hood. I don't care if they got two parents. They interests are the same. It's like right now, right? If you see twin arms coming down the street, a Are you gonna try to figure out which one ain't gonna bite you now?
Well, when you make those type of comparisons, they sound good on YouTube as a clip. But in reality, you're dealing with 10 women. And if you're dealing with 10 women, eventually you're trying to talk to one of the women. And when you get that woman on the phone, like he said, you talk to them. And you start trying to figure them out. You have to ask better questions when you meet the woman. Hey, what are you into? What happened with your last relationship? Well, what did he do wrong? Oh, okay, yeah. It'd be a whole laundry list of shit what he did. What did you do wrong? Oh, I really didn't know. Now let's get to the bottom of the list. Let's really talk about this. You got to really dig deep with women. You got to ask real questions. And when you know she's lying, you have to call her on that shit immediately. As soon as you know it's a lie, you call that shit out immediately. No, baby, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. You're not going to sell me that. And you can't be scared that you're not going to get no damn vajayjay. Take that vagina sniffing nose and put it in your pocket for a little while. Because that's how you end up in child support court with your wallet upside down and tears crying out, coming out your eyes and blaming the woman. But you just gotta ask better questions, period.
You gonna be like, what's your life? So unfortunately, the real woman agree with too much that these was on. So we don't know the difference.
Well, the reason why women agree with other women so much is because they're allowed to, because men accept some of this shit. Now women the women who come from my era, like I said, from the 35 to 65, the women, they're starting to pay the price for all the shenanigans. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to reach back across the ocean as a passport, bro, and kick the black woman in her ass. Life is going to do that itself. Because the passport bros, let me say this about the passport bros. Shout out to the passport bros, especially the younger ones who getting up and going across seas and other countries. And, you know, I watch some of the Austin Hollamans and Zoom to Thailands and some of these different travel man and all that different shit. You know what I'm talking about. I watch some of them clips and stuff, and I just watch it to look at the other culture and look what's going on over there and seeing how it is. But let's get one thing straight. Them ain't our people, and that's not our culture, and it never will be. And this passport bro phenomenon is really a facade. The amount of black men who travel across seas, buy a condo, meet a woman, marry a woman, and then start a life in Thailand or the Philippines or wherever else is so small and so minute, it's insignificant. I'm gonna say that again. The amount is so small, brother. We talking maybe 2,000 or 3,000, and I might be over. To listen to what I said. Buy a condo across seas, meet a woman, marry a woman, have children with that woman, and raise a family across seas. Man, it might be 80 of them niggas. It might be 80. A lot of this shit is internet talking content to conjure up a bunch of bullshit. Let me say this, 99% of black men ain't going nowhere. They're here. They not moving no time soon. They ain't going nowhere no time soon. They might travel. They might go to the DR, Venezuela, or, you know what I mean, Colombia. They might go to Brazil. They might go, but they coming back home. 99.9999999% of all these black men, so-called black men, Negroes, are coming back home. So is the answer going across seas and finding a wife? No. Why? Because the number is so small and so minute and so poquito that it doesn't really even matter. I just like watching it to look at other cultures and see what's going on over there. See how they women look. But it's not nothing serious where I feel like, oh my God, it's going to be. Now, let me tell you this. If 3-4 million black men was buying homes and marrying women overseas and starting families, that's a problem. But I'm sorry, 87 of them, that's just, come on now. That's ridiculous. But let's talk about this. Paternity fraud crisis. Yes. Paternity fraud. That is a crisis. There's a lot of men who think they're the father of children that they're not. Now, women who do this, they're dead wrong. Ain't no excuse for that shit. That's disgusting and despicable and low and pathetic. What kind of human being pawns a child off on another man that's not his? That's the devil's work. That's demonic. And women who do that, they bear the ultimate responsibility if that man snapped and did something that he wasn't supposed to do. But let's take a look at this clip.
Can we talk about the DNA testing center? I had two guys call in. They work at DNA testing centers. One guy had to quit. One guy still works there. He told me 40% of the children are not the man's child. 40%. He said 40%, and it's usually it's two scenarios. It's where the woman, the person's getting a DNA test because the woman claims that is their child. Turns out it's not. The other one is where the parent is on a deathbed and makes a confession, or they need they need a liver transplant, blood transfusion, and the blood type, there's no way that can actually be the father. So then they find out that because of medical reasons, you mean that's not my father? Then the father finds out from that way. He said it took such a toll on him that he could no longer do it because he would be sitting on the phone counseling the men and the grown children who these women falsely accuse.
Yeah, that happens. And there's no excuse for that. That's disgusting. And that's foul. And, you know, I don't know. We stand in society. Paternity tests obviously should be mandatory. But, you know, ain't nothing built. Look, that's why I keep saying, when you have to pay double, you just got to do a better job of vetting. If a woman touches the stove and she burns her hand, and your black ass touched the stove and your whole arm catches fire, does that mean I bear a greater responsibility when it comes to touching that stove? I'm not just going to need to rub some butter on my fingers. My whole arm is fucking charred. I done barbecued my whole motherfucking right arm. So if I keep touching it, I'm going to be covered in third-degree burns. No. Men have to pay double, especially the Negro men. So you can't, no. We just, like I said, you just got to do a better job. Just got to do a better job. Nobody's perfect. You ain't going to do everything perfect. But there is a lot of things that we can do better. They do have this girl right here. Her name is Just Pearly Things. When I first seen the white girl talking about relationships, I knew she was a fraud. I really did. I listened to her. She was on one of these videos. I forgot. I was going through and watched the clip. And when I used to watch Kevin Samuels, I came across one of her clips one time. It was, you know, I should be in the recommended. And I listened. I said, what a fraud. She talks all this shit about marriage and what should and shouldn't be done and this, that, and the third, and black women and this, and you ain't married, and ain't nobody want your tall, lanky, Bigfoot ass. She's like a 6'1" white girl, real goofy, real pale skin, just no great physical features, and just completely full of shit. Let's take a look. She says Pearly struggles in the dating market, and she's one of these people who's part of the manosphere, who all she does is blame women and make excuses for men. Oh wait, wrong video.
I would say if there's one thing that's held me back in dating, it is the height. I would
think
say
so.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Now, is that because you...
And she got bags on the side of her eyes. I mean, it looked like tea bags on that lady's eyes. I mean...
It's me, it's my fault, yeah. No, I'd actually say I'd go down to like 5'10". I'd say like an inch or two shorter.
Then you wear the heels though, you're taller.
No, that's fine. I don't mind if I'm wearing heels. But I'm just like being...
But, like I said, she said she only dated a man who's 5'10", 'cause I think she's like close to 6 foot tall. But just nothing sexy about the woman. And she gets on here and she tells all these women where they making mistakes at and how the man is just this, that, and the third. Yeah, there's man that's being, like I said, verbally abused, physically, but you have to allow a person to do that, especially as a man. If you allow that shit, you get what you allow. You get what you deserve. You can't allow somebody to disrespect you and you just eat it. Nowhere in the Bible does it tell you just allow yourself to be disrespected. Nowhere. This is going to be the last clip of this video. Women ignore. Oh, I think I already go over this. I think I already go over this one. Let me see. No, women ignore the good guys. Good guys / nice guys. Look, in the old English dictionary, nice means that you're ignorant and a fool. That's why they have the saying that nice guys finish last. The thing about nice is what's the line on it? How nice should you be? Should you be so nice to where you're on the internet complaining about what's going wrong with the woman? Should you be that nice? Absolutely not. That's called weakness. A lot of women are passing men over because of weakness. He just doesn't challenge her. He doesn't. She knows she fits a lie. She telling a bold-faced lie. He knows she lying. He don't even challenge the shit. Let's take a look at the clip.
But the majority of men are good men. It's a very like.
That's a hell of an assumption to say the majority of men are good men. You don't know what the fuck the majority of men are. How the fuck you know that? That's just more like a 50-50 proposition. 50% motherfuckers all right, the other 50 ain't shit. That's pretty much how it goes. It ain't no 50% or, I mean, most men are good men. You don't know that because you haven't been with most men. That's a hell of an assumption that she's making right there.
It's a very small percentage of men that are sleeping with all the women. Like if you want a guy that's over 6 foot, that's 15% of men. You want to be cute, cut that in half. You want to make money, cut that in half. It's a very small percentage of men that are sleeping with all the girls.
And I said that 20% of the men are sleeping with 80% of the women, but irrelevant of the fact, in our race, in our group, we just have to be honest. That's all. And honesty is the best policy, and it really will work for black men. They would be surprised how much grief and how much of an understanding women would. If you told a woman, hey, baby, I'm out here slanging, I'm doing my thing, she would say, oh, I can't have no baby by this guy. Let me protect myself better. Let me get this birth control. Let me make sure my shot is up to date. Let me make sure you wear a condom because you out here doing your thing. And it will protect you too, because then she want to protect herself. So then you don't have to be in child support court with your wallet upside down. So it's just one of those things where men, it starts with us and it ends with us. And the women are in between all of our shit, and we just have to do better with honesty. I'm not saying they perfect. I know a lot of black women are so used to losing, they don't know when they winning. I understand that. But the reason for that is because we as men, we dealing in bullshit too. We dealing in ignorance and lying and deceit and all type of other shit too. So they're doing what we do. It's monkey see, monkey do. Period, point blank.
Every girl has a guy in their friend zone that would treat them well.
But, it is what it is, you guys. I'm sick of men sitting around blaming women for every fucking thing. This shit can start to go way too far, you guys. I mean, way too far. It really has. But, these clips was fun to go over. Great topics. Great subjects. Eventually, I would love to get somebody to, talk back and forth with. That would be fantastic too. But, it's coming. Eventually, it'll happen. But, this has been Sports Life and Politics TV. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Samuel Koppel. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on one hell of a you can't blame the woman for everything ride. Peace.